Hey, what's up? Welcome to live.besttechie.net, the place where we talk tech, answer your tech questions, and everything that's related to technology. I got a message on YouTube the other day from a user called Cartooned1, and he wants to know. His question was about domain names, and he wanted to know. Well, this is his question. He goes, "I would like for you to do a video on domain names if you get a chance, as far as how to go about getting them, and also about the domain space. I'm trying to figure out the whole thing about the difference and why price is higher on one than the next." All right, that's a pretty fair question. I think it's a good one. Let me first start by addressing where I buy my domain names is GoDaddy.com. That's GoDaddy.com, one word, and they typically have pretty decent prices. A lot of times they have sales. For most domain names, whether that be most common domain names, .coms and .nets, typically are around 10 bucks a year. Once you start getting into actually .info domains, which no one really likes, and usually are associated with spam, are cheaper. But when you're looking at like the .us or the .ws, there's so many. There's .org, which .org is actually usually about $10 a year as well. But let's head over to GoDaddy.com, and the reason the price varies is mainly because of the fact that, like, for example, .tv domains are generally anywhere from $30 to $40 a year, which is more than the .org, the .net, and the .com, which are usually, like I said, $10 a year or less, depending on where you buy them. I like GoDaddy because they're a big name, they're trusted, they're accredited by ICANN, and they're usually pretty cheap, and they have a nice control panel to use. But why are they different prices? It really has to do with, a lot. It has to do with a few factors. I mean, I think it mainly, when you're looking at a domain, the cost factor in terms of how much they have to pay to have the domain, and by that I mean the actual top level domain, like the .tv. When you pay ICANN, which is the Internet Association for the top level domains and whatnot, you have to pay. They have to pay a fee in order to be able to distribute and be accredited to sell these top level domains. So that being said, some are cheaper than others, and that's why GoDaddy, in order to make a profit, and they have to sell it at a certain price. So what I don't want to say there's no better in a .tv than there is in a .com. However, to a certain extent, in terms of the usage, there is. First of all, when you're looking at buying a domain name, the first thing you have to figure out is the domain taken by someone else? If it's taken by someone else and they already own the .com, or they own the .net, or they own most of the things, then they don't have the .net maybe, but they have the .com, the .org, and whatnot. It's probably best that you don't go with that domain. Why? Because first of all, you can get yourself into perhaps legal trouble if you use it for the same type of service or website, and you're going to be competing directly with the other site. So your best bet is, when you're looking to buy a domain, buy the .com. My general rule of thumb, if you're looking to buy a domain and it's not taken, you buy the .com, the .net, the .org, and sometimes you could buy depending on what you want to do with it, the .tv, or actually the .tv is not even that important. Mostly the .com, the .net, and the .org are the three major ones that you want to look into getting when you buy a domain. Like I was saying, in terms of when you purchase a domain, how long you should purchase it for, well, there's a little fact that some people don't know, or I don't know if most people know this, but if you purchase a domain for, let's say, the max 10 years, right? Or I believe it's 10 years. If you purchase, or maybe it's 16 or something. If you purchase it for a long period of time, Google actually likes will take your domain ranking and rank it a little higher, or a lot higher, because it shows dedication and it shows that you'll be around for a while. Whereas if you purchase a domain name for only a few, like 2 years, 3 years, it doesn't look as good to Google. Also, if your domains are going to expire within, I think, 60 days or 90 days, 90 to 60 days, make sure you renew them as fast as possible. Because if you don't, Google then will hit you with ranking deductions, basically, in terms of your rank on their search engine, which is bad. You don't want that to happen. So I think that's a decent thing to keep in mind when you're buying a domain. How long to buy it for, and really what you plan to do with it, and also to renew it as soon as you possibly can whenever it's coming time to renew it. Also, like I'm saying, there is no better or worse when it comes to a top-level domain. I recommend you buy a top-level domain, such as a .com, .org, .whatever. Don't go with those free services like .co, like .co, .nr, or .tk. The rankings on those, and they're generally associated with some kind of spyware or viruses or Trojans, because a lot of times people use them to distribute these malicious pieces of software. So try and stay away from those if you possibly can. When it comes to buying a domain and figuring out the name of what you want that's all personal creativity. I mean, when I think of domain names, I try and think of something that's clever, easy to remember, and relatively short. And that's for a number of reasons. It allows people easily to get to the domain name and figure out how to type it. It also, because spelling is important. It also allows people to quickly. It also shorter, so less chance for mistakes when people are typing it, which is very important as well. So you really have to factor in all these things. Be creative. Don't just buy a domain. Sit down, think about it. Type in a few domains into GoDaddy's little search to see what's available, and you'll come up with something. They actually give recommendations too. The best way to do it is really to just think, brainstorm, and come up with the most creative domain you can. It's a lot more difficult nowadays with everything. A lot of things are taken. It's almost the .com market is saturated almost. In fact, it is kind of saturated with the amount of .coms that there are. And a lot of companies, there are companies out there today that literally just squat, what they call squatters, and they buy up the domains and they try and sell them to you. So, I mean, when it comes to it, try and think of some creative. Buy as many as you can in your domain, the .com, the .net, and .org, because that deters people from buying the rest of them. Because they basically they have no use for them. So buy as many as you can. Typically, those three are the best ones to buy. So I mean, I hope that helps. Cartoon, I hope it does. Leave a comment, send me a message, let me know what you think. If anyone else, I hope this helps everyone else. And I hope I get some good advice in terms of the renewing and the purchasing of domains. So this has been live.besttech.net. Thanks for watching. By the way, we're here 24/7, 365. Even if I'm not streaming, we have the chat room wide open. You can come and ask your question. Or, by the way, I never mentioned this before, but we actually have support forums on Best Techie, besttechie.net/forums. And if you go there, you can register. It's free. And sign up and ask your question there. So, no reason not to come by. And I'm usually hanging out in the chat, talking. If I'm not talking, I'm usually hanging out there anyway. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.